Welcome back to the coin world, your trusted source for rare coin history, values, and collecting insights. Today, we'll dive deep into the long and fascinating story of the 1947 Liberty 1-cent wheat penny, a coin that, while common in circulation, carries rich historical value and some hidden collector gems worth thousands. The year was 1947. World War II had ended just 2 years prior, and the United States was entering a period of post-war growth and rebuilding. Factories that once produced military supplies were now focusing on consumer goods, and the American economy was booming. Against this backdrop, the Lincoln wheat penny, also known as the Liberty 1-cent coin, continued its production. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it proudly displayed Lincoln on the obverse and two wheat ears on the reverse, symbolizing national prosperity. In 1947, the U.S. Mint struck Lincoln wheat pennies at 3 different locations. Philadelphia No Mint Mark, approx. 190.55 million coins. Denver D Mint Mark, approx. 194.75 million coins. San Francisco S Mint Mark, approx. 99.0 million coins. That makes the total mintage over 484 million, which may seem like a large number. However, not all of these coins survived in mint condition, and only a small fraction exist today in pristine grades. The obverse features the bust of Abraham Lincoln, facing right, with the words, "In God We Trust," across the top, Liberty to the left, and the date 1947. To the right. The reverse design showcases the legendary wheat ears curving along both sides with 1 cent and United States of America boldly in the center. E pluribus unum above. This elegant, minimalist design stood as a tribute to American resilience and progress. Though common, several rare varieties and errors make the 1947 wheat penny highly collectible. Double die obverse DDO. These show doubling in the date or lettering and can fetch hundreds to thousands of dollars, depending on condition. Off-center strikes. If the coin was struck off-center, values can range from $50 to over $300. BAE error. This refers to a small die crack that appears between the B and the in Liberty, forming what looks like an I. These are fun collector pieces, and worth up to $25, $50 in good condition. Grading plays a massive role in determining value. Circulated coins, usually worth 2 to 10 cents. Mint State MS60 MS63, worth $1 to $10. High. Mint State MS65 and above. These can go for $50 to $250 plus, depending on mint, mark and luster. Red color designation road. Coins are the most valuable. A 1947 S. penny graded MS67 road, sold for over $7,000 at auction. If you're a collector, here's what to look for. Seek pennies with full wheat lines and no visible wear. Watch for error varieties. Try to complete a 1947 set. P, D, and S mint marks in high grades. Always verify authenticity if buying high-value specimens. The year 1947 was a pivotal time in American history. The horrors of World War II were still fresh, and soldiers had returned home, bringing with them both pride and trauma. The United States was emerging as a global superpower, and domestically, people were adjusting to a peacetime economy. The GI Bill had transformed the American dream by giving returning veterans access to education, home ownership, and a fresh start. Against this backdrop, the U.S. Mint resumed full production of coins, including the Lincoln wheat penny, which had been continuously minted since 1909. It represented not just a medium of exchange but a symbol of American values, freedom, labor, and unity. The reverse design of the 1947 penny, featuring 2 wheat stalks, wasn't just agricultural decoration, it was a message. Wheat symbolized abundance and prosperity, values that were sorely needed as the nation transitioned from war to rebuilding. It also subtly honored the American farmer, whose contributions during the war kept the nation and its allies fed during World War II. In 1943, the U.S. Mint had produced pennies from steel coated with zinc to conserve copper for war use. By 1947, copper was once again plentiful, and pennies resumed their traditional composition, 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. This return to form marked a return to normalcy for many Americans, and the humble penny played a part in that. Post-war, the mints at Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco were working to meet rising economic demands. Coinage production was critical to revitalize small businesses, retail, and everyday commerce. This increased demand sometimes led to die overuse, which contributed to common mint errors such as die cracks, doubling, and off-center strikes, many of which are sought after today. By 1947, Abraham Lincoln had been gone for 82 years, but his influence on American identity was perhaps stronger than ever. His image on the penny reminded citizens of the values he stood for: unity, sacrifice, and moral leadership. In a country healing from the global wounds of fascism and the Holocaust, Lincoln's quiet, stoic image reinforced national ideals. Interestingly, 1947 was also the year the Cold War unofficially began, with President Truman delivering his Truman Doctrine speech to contain communism. Though seemingly unrelated, coinage played a subtle propaganda role. Symbols like "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" reaffirmed democratic and spiritual values in opposition to Soviet atheism and totalitarianism. The penny, circulated by the millions, was part of that message. In 1947, a loaf of bread cost about 13 cents, and a gallon of gas about 23 cents. A single penny still had real purchasing power. It could buy a stick of gum or a piece of candy. This was an era when children collected pennies in piggy banks, and adults counted change carefully to make ends meet. Every coin mattered, though the 1947 penny is not exceedingly rare, it's historical. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe.